until after we have concluded the parliamentary primaries and the flag bearer primaries on the 13th of May this year. That all office holders and appointees should remain in office until the primaries are over. We are therefore surprised that the primaries are not yet taking place, they are not yet over, and a reshuffle is hitting the caucus of Parliament. We think that that is premature. We have also investigated and discovered that the National Executive Committee, FEC, and the National Executive Committee, NEC, including the Council of Elders, did not have a formal meeting to take a decision on this matter. And then, of course, the caucus as a body was not consulted on this matter. And we think that that is quite not well in place. It is against the backdrop of this that we are humbly appealing to the National Executive of the party that they should suspend their current action and let the current officers, Haruna and his team, remain in office until such time that the primaries are over and we have a holistic stakeholder consultation before we decide on the way forward. In that case, the current executive that we, as I said, that still in office, should remain in office and steer the affairs of the caucus until such time that we advise ourselves. We want to pledge our support to the party. We are committed to the party. We are committed to the focus of the caucus to assist the party in the coming elections in December 2024 so that we can form government. So we are saying this without prejudice to the merits of those who have been appointed. No. We know that we are all members of Parliament, we are all competent. The Dr. Foster Atu, and then the Kwame Aboja, and then the Ama Abua are very good parliamentarians. We have nothing against them. We trust them. But we are saying that the timing is not appropriate. The timing for a reshuffle now is not appropriate. And that the consequences are very, very grave for us and could negatively affect our fortunes come December 2024. It is against this background, the fact that there was no adequate and proper consultation within the ranks of the party, that we think that they should reconsider and suspend the current reshuffle until such time that we hold a meeting. Thank you very much.
Well, just to add, colleagues, just to add that we are equally concerned that the letters that were issued were not the decision of the party. Our party as NDC has about 4 decision-making groups. First, the Congress, where all delegates meet to take decision. Second is the National Executive Committee, that's NEC. And then third is the Functional Executive Committee. It is when this group take decision, then you get the General Secretary and the principal officers implement. Then we also have the Council of Elders, even though our constitution says that they are advisory. Sometimes, periodically, they also give directions and then the party tries to implement. We are firm, because I serve as on FEC, I serve on NEC, I go to Council of Elders as an observer, and I'm also on the political committee as an observer. Congress, all of us as members of Parliament are members of Congress, and the minority leader is also on all these levels. At no such meeting was there any agenda to discuss this. So it is clear that it is a letter, yes, written by the General Secretary, but the decision may be just the decision of some few people in the party. And we believe that our party should sit up, because Article 55 of the 1992 Constitution is very clear. It says that everything that we do must follow democratic principles. So we want to urge the General Secretary, and the most shocking part of it is that we were never consulted. I mean, I heard some of the officers saying that some elders were sent to talk to us. I'll be very happy to be mentioned which elder was sent to me to talk to me, because nobody has spoke to me. And without casting any insinuation and also creating doubt on the capability of our colleagues, Honorable Atuforsen, Honorable Kwame Agoja, and Honorable Amako Fibua. These are our colleagues. I mean, we've been working very closely together, those of you who report from this house. And myself, Honorable Aveji, and the leader himself, Honorable Aaron Edisu, we will have to be grateful to this caucus. Any day they decide that, oh, we've had enough of you, maybe we want to change direction, we want to change energy, we want to change steam, we would be thankful for the opportunity given us. Because how were we put into office? I'll just recap. In 2021, the party led by the then national chairman, Honorable Ofuso Ampofo, and the general secretary came to our caucus meeting. They came and then names were sealed, so suggested names. And I remember very well, the first question they asked the general caucus was, do you want to retain your leadership or you want to change them? And there was a row, applause, that no, we want to maintain them. Even that, they said they wanted to be sure, because there were some other names that were also coming up. Each regional caucus was asked to go back and, having the names that had come up, consider what their choice, seal it in an envelope and give it to the national party, which is exactly what happened. So it was taken to the political committee, it was summarized, and then there was another caucus meeting to announce the decision from the various 16 regional caucuses. I want to say that this is consultation, and this is the caucus electing its leaders. I'm sorry to say that you have youth organizers in our party, they meet to elect their leaders. Women organizers meet to elect their leaders. And it is shocking for parliamentarians to be told that leaders are choosing for them. I have served, this was my third term in the leadership. There was not a single time that I was choosing two that I've been appointed as so and so to serve in any capacity in parliament. And we know the natural justice, and the laws of our country. If you cannot write a letter to appoint, how can you write a letter to disappoint? We don't want this controversy at this time, or the letter to dismiss. I want to also remind some of the officers about our 1992 Constitution, Article 296, where when discretion is given you, that discretion, how it should be used. So how it should be exercised. So we don't want to create enmity among us unnecessarily, but we believe that the right process should be done. And believe me, if the right process is done, you come to the caucus, regional caucus will resolve that they want to change their leaders or they want to change some of the positions, we will be very happy and will thank them for the opportunity to serve. Because the very day that some of us were appointed into leaders, we knew there would be a day that you have to exit for others to come, because we took over from others. So there's no doubt about that. Our plea is that when this petition gets to the Council of Elders, we hope that they will help fast track a reconciliation and a meeting that will help us resolve all this before Parliament resumes, so that we don't have to saddle ourselves with this controversy. When MPP is really messing up completely, there are so many issues that we need to be focusing, which this is not the time for us to be focusing in the internal division among us, and I don't think that's healthy for us at all. So I want to thank you sincerely and probably give you the opportunity to ask questions. Thank you very much.
So in Parliament, they said they had fruitful conversations agenda for the next 1 month. What kind of conversation, if Honorable Muntaka is aware, if any conversation has been had, and if such handover has been done? 1. 2, what does this position that has been taken by this more than 70 MPs mean? Would that mean that if by the time Parliament resumes, the party has not written against the decision they took earlier, Honorable Muntaka and his team will still assume the front bench of the caucus?
others. I stated earlier that by our open parliament, when we are sitting, that you reach the communication. I've been coming to Parliament for the past 2 days or there, but I haven't seen the Speaker around. So as far as we are concerned, there is no such letter indicating that there is a reshuffle and a new people in place. I would pray that those whose names were mentioned in that reshuffle can just be patient and stay the process until such time that, like we have indicated, we have the adequate consultation and know the way forward. So for us, there is no reshuffle yet because the Speaker has not read the letter to us in the House, and we have not yet taken it has not yet taken effect. So as far as we are concerned, it is the Haruna. It's not before the House, for that matter. Yes, it's in the Speaker's office. That is not before the House. There's no indication to us. So for us, as we are concerned, still in control of affairs of the caucus.
Well, just to add that there's nothing before the caucus. I mean, you know, it's the caucus that has to, with the consultation of the party, have its leaders. And there's nothing before the caucus. And then with respect to claims that there was some fruitful discussion with Honorable Haruna Iddrisu. Yeah, it's not here, but he gave a detailed briefing at the caucus meeting. And without wanting to create problems, because our intention is not to create a banter. But I can tell you that there was nothing fruitful. To give the details of what Honorable Haruna Iddrisu said. But what I can tell you is that there's nothing about Haruna Iddrisu has, recognized them and therefore has given them his blessing, or he has asked them, he asked them to do one or two things, which they did not do. So I just want to urge our colleagues that they shouldn't be in a hurry. If this caucus really wants to have a change and have them as leaders, they you can see that each time they are required, I'm able to marshal them because they trusted in me. Why wouldn't I give if the caucus decide to change a whip? We just don't jump the gun and we don't do things the way it is done. Thank you.
Introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Bajona.
GVC.
Why is it quick?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Wallahi, yes.
Honorable Haruna Iddrisu is the minority leader in the state.
The second question goes to the lawyer, What listen to the argument all over? Just that the authority that appointed new leaders that do. There's no process for electing, there's not a consultation. Now there's nothing in your constitution that states that for leadership parliament to be appointed, there must be a process. Do you foresee that there must be a process within the constitution? That if you don't have it at all.
Well, for the constitution, I've referred you to Article 55(4). Maybe for the avoidance.
Then it's the constitution.
Maybe for the avoidance of that, let me just read the 1992. I'll just go and then.
Yeah, just go ahead.
I just wanted to read it, but then the lawyer will just speak.
Okay, I thank you very much for the question. As the minority chief whip has just indicated, the 1992 Constitution is a fundamental law of the land, and it provides in Article 55, I think clause 5,
4 and 5.
4 and 5, that every political party must conduct its internal affairs in conformance with democratic principles,
As enshrined
right?
in the Constitution.
As enshrined in this constitution. And so I think the party constitution has not set out the processes and procedures for the appointment of leadership of parliament. There is a reliance on Order 7, which basically, defines the minority leader. And he says that the minority leader is the person designated by the party. Okay? So the word to designate is appoint, right? I mean, it means to appoint. Okay? But the standing orders do not also provide any procedure at all with respect to how you appoint the leadership. So the party has been relying on precedent. And I think that the minority chief whip, has outlined some of the procedures and processes that have been relied upon in the past. He told you about what happened in 2021, where regional caucuses were asked to go back and vote, and put their votes in sealed envelopes and sent to party head office for purposes of determining who became, the leader. Even that was after the party came and consulted us, and we unanimously said we wanted to retain the leadership. Now, as far as this letter that we are talking about is concerned, there has been no meeting whatsoever between the minority caucus and the party head office. No meeting whatsoever. So even if there was a meeting, for us to be able to say that we agree to the decision that you are taking, that these are our concerns, or we have no concerns at all, that is what we are calling for. Some of us think, and I'm not sitting here because of Muntaka. I am not sitting here because of Parliament Juice. In fact, I am not against Atufose. Neither am I against Amabua. I'm not against Honorable Agoja. They are all my colleagues. But I'm here on the basis of principle. The principle of consultation which has been established, okay, by the party in the selection of parliamentary leadership cannot be abandoned, in this manner. And the fact that a letter written to Mr. Speaker by the General Secretary without the endorsement of FEC, without the endorsement of NEC, is dressed as a decision of the party. Now remember that I referred to orders, 7. It says designated by the party. That letter is not a letter of the party. And I'm saying that from a legal technical point of view, it is not a letter of the party. And so if there has to be a letter from the party, then there has to be a meeting of FEC. The matter has to be tabled and a decision taken, and the principal officers can then be told or instructed by FEC to implement that decision.
To convey the decision.
To convey the decision to Mr. Speaker. So this is all that I can say. Some of us are fighting on the basis of principle. We think that what has happened is an affront to the dignity of the caucus. It is not about personalities. Thank you very much.
A follow-up on that. Leader, you told us how in 2021 you were retained. The public will be interested in 2017. What happened? How were you appointed? Was it by this regional, the party took a decision? Let's educate the public.
Well, let's start from 2013. That's when I became a whip. We met at then the regional minister's residence. All Greater Accra regional minister. All the MPs were there. I remember the then chairman, Dr. Kobneji, was there. The current national chairman, the general secretary, was also there.
I was the outgoing
and you were then the outgoing leader. Names were mentioned one after the other. Then discussions would go on and then affirm. That's how it was done. So there was this detailed consultation before it was announced. Then 2017, the same thing. We came to a caucus meeting at the Job Center auditorium, DFNI auditorium, and all those discussions happened there. Yes. Okay, my colleague is reminding that it was on 4th January, on the 4th of January. So all these discussions happened at the auditorium for us to conclude that these are our leaders. So what we are asking is that what has changed said that we have this
Just a letter.
letter flying. Now, I can tell you in 2013, when I was made a government whip or majority whip, even though the party hierarchy were there or all this guy, nobody gave me a letter. In 2017, when I was to be retained and Aruna Idrisu and Co had to leave, nobody gave me a letter. In 2021, when these discussions and even the regional caucuses thing all happened, nobody gave me a letter. So how come now letters are being written? Where is that? Why are we, instead of improving the system, I mean, rather pushing away an established procedure that we ourselves have established? The last caucus. November 2021 to the party general secretary, and with your permission, I'll just read. It says, "Rules of party. I am pleased to forward herewith the rules of party as a legal framework document for the management of the NDC Parliamentary Caucus. It considers for the grievances, organization, and conduct of business of the National Democratic NDC Parliamentary Caucus, which is one integral organ of the party. The rules of the party will help maintain discipline within the caucus and strengthen the relationship between the party and the caucus in Parliament. The rules are accordingly submitted for your information and attention of Congress." So this was on on the 18th of November 2021, and this was after a visit to the House of Commons and then the Capitol Hill in the US to see how they do it, and you see that was communicated to the party. So we are surprised that this action is being taken the way and the form and the manner it is being done. And let me say this maybe lastly. Most of our colleagues that are being drawn into trying to divide us, we should be very careful, because we have a party that must win 2024 election. And it is not about the Haruna Idrisu-led administration. Neither is it about those that are being mentioned to take over. It is about the principle. If that principle, our party sits and allow that with a greater respect, just some few individuals who act without the party's own structures, then we are all we'll all be in danger. Because then when we win, when by the grace of God we win power, is it how decisions are going to be taken? I don't think that's how we want to act. And then because our national constitution should also mandate us to adhere at all times to the democratic principles, it is only fair that if we are making this complaint, it is because we want to keep the principle. And I can assure you, I will pledge 100%. If this process is taken through our caucuses, the caucus take a decision, we will support whoever will take. Yes. So we want to thank you sincerely.
Sorry, just last one I want. So that say
Now we introduce ourselves.
my name is
So just
my name is Joseph Armstrong from TV3. So based on the petition you are forwarding, should it stay and they refuse to heed to your demands, how do you see the NDC come 2024? Do you think it's going to affect you greatly? And also, if I may come personal, do you think you have the General Secretary and also that of the National Chairman have a personal issue with you, sir?
No, we don't want to answer that. I mean, if you say you are going to go into the issue of personal, that would derail the focus. And I want to doubt whether Council of Elders will not act on a 70
we don't want to go into speculation.
Yes.
I think
We shouldn't go into speculation as to the outcome of our petition. Let's get to the end of that before we know what to do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then we'll reconvene.
Yes.
I think
It's a similar. I'm Henry Kwesibedu. I work with Metro team. I wanted to know what will be your next line of action, because it looks like the new leadership.
We will advise us.
So we thank you sincerely for your coming. We are grateful.
No, we've had enough.
But when you do that, then you are going to mention
No. We've had enough now.
The decision I was taken by the party, was taken by a few members of the party, the general secretary. The letter that was written by the general secretary was just a decision that was taken by a few members of the party, and then about 70 of them, we saw a few of them.
This is City TV and my name is Kweku Ediama Answer. The news just in is that the former Minority Chief Whip of Parliament, Muntaka Mubarak, who is also the Member of Parliament for Aswase, is calling on the leadership of the National Democratic Congress to rescind its decision to reshuffle the leadership of the House. You will recall that early this week, the leadership of the NDC actually came out with a statement noting that it had reshuffled its leadership. Muntaka Mubarak is one of such persons who lost his position. Well, he has been speaking in the presser you just saw not too long ago, and he says that they are actually going to go ahead and petition the leadership of the NDC to rescind its decision. Well, we will be briefing you subsequently in our bulletins. My name is Kweku Ediama. So many thanks for watching.
Exceptional sisters as they come to the rescue of relationships with the all-new season of Sister Sister. Be it gut-wrenching personal secrets, jaw-dropping partner shenanigans, or the cringe-worthy deeds of family and friends, our sisters will be here